Hey, it's Michael, TMI Lab. I've got an Akai AX80 on the bench. This is one that I have, it's kind of been a side project for me. I've been working on it for a couple of months, just off and on. Fixed quite a few things, but I kept coming into situations where I need a new IC and I'd have to order them because I'm out. So, we got 4011s, we've got 4013s. 082s, and when I replace an IC, I always put in a socket and do that. The Curtis chips I pulled from another unit, and they seem to be good. I'm going to scope them here in the next couple of days and just examine the output on them and make sure that they're good. But if they are not good, I have a fallback, which is these guys right here. So I'm looking forward to trying these out, and once I get this thing done, I will probably replace a couple of chips with it just to give these a go. I want to see how well they work. But these are the replacements for those 3372s that you can't find anymore and are crazy expensive. So this is something I'm looking forward to giving a go. So they're a lot cheaper. They're expensive, but they're much cheaper than trying to find somebody that has some Curtis chips to give you. Anyway, so the jack board on this thing is one issue that I decided to go ahead and tackle. I got my ICs in. I pulled this one off right here, and it is the 4556. It's a dual operational amplifier. Really good specs on the thing. I'm sorry, it's the 5560. What did I say? See, I've been into it too long, getting a little bit confused. Anyway, the replacement for that is this 4556. And if you test this on your handy dandy IC tester, you will get, I believe, another variety, which is interesting on these testers. It'll give you another dual operational amplifier reading. That's what it will sense it. I have it on automatic. Oh, that didn't work out. Try that again. Make sure I got good contact. TL82, that's what it does. The TLO82. That's also a dual operational amplifier. So interesting that it comes up with that. But anyway, 6 of one, half dozen the other. So on the jack board, which is what this is, it's located right there. That jack board, it has one of those right there. So as a little helpful hint to you, if you have a very bad output, like just static and just sounds like everything is just staticky and real bad. You can hear the tones in the back, but they may sound out of whack. You can get all kinds of neat little artifacts audio-wise. Here's what I did. I'm trying to move this to where you can see the important bit. There we go. All right. So this right here is the output from the soundboard. It goes to the jack board. So what you can do to test this, to see if your problem is that particular board, is you could even just put a pair of headphones on this, and you have two posts here. Just put a pair of headphones on there and see if you have really clean output, a real clean monaural output. If you do, then, and you have, when you put headphones in the regular jack, that is not so clean, in fact is horrendous, hard to hear, then what I would do is replace this IC right here. That's the one. So I got these 4556 dual amps, and that's what I used to replace it with. And I took that off, desoldered it, and put a jack in, and then popped the chip in, put it all back up, hooked it up. Beautiful, nice, clean sound. These are good chips. So that's what I did. And here's the old one. I put that on the tester and it couldn't even find it because it's just so messed up. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I got the output good. Now the only issue remaining on this board, and maybe one of you have dealt with this, I do not know, but I thought I'd put it out there just in case. When you boot this up, you will sometimes get it to boot. Let me see if I can actually do that right now, live. I need to protect this because I'm not quite 100% back together. There we go. And let's see if I can get this positioned. And if I turn it on, I have, and it's going to be blinky, of course, out of phase. I get random stationary. It's not blinking like that here. It just looks like that on the camera. On this, it is shows a 9, almost a 0, 6, 6, 0 in the output, and nothing here is coming up. So I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on. Eventually, it will do this. See, now I've got the displays here working. And earlier on, I did a repair on these to get these to start working. And you know how that repair goes, I'm sure. And over here, everything is correct. What you would expect to see on power up P1. If I hit a key, this time I'm hearing some sound. I've got it in the headphones here, so I don't know how clean that'll be, but there is output. So I am getting something that's not exactly correct output. However, if I plug in a MIDI controller, which I have over here, if I put the MIDI input into here and I use the MIDI controller, everything's correct. Usually what happens when I reset it and it does, and I keep going off on, off on, off on, eventually it'll come on like that, hit the keys, and right now it's not doing it. So I'm not getting anything from the keys, but if I output MIDI from my controller, it will, and it'll sound great, and everything's perfect. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to turn it off. So I have an intermittent booting problem. I have swapped out the motherboard over here, and that has not made a difference. In fact, the way that it flickers is a little bit different, so I guess it did make a difference in a way. And I may try that again. I haven't replaced the main chip. This is a new chip. I had the operating system burn. I can burn my own ROMs here, so I burned a new ROM for it to make sure that it was complete, and so I know that rules that out. One thing that I did notice, when you try to boot it up and it does not boot up, these ICs here are not getting voltage, so they're not engaged. So it's like a partial boot, and then it just stops before it does this. So there's something going on, I think, in here. And it could be one of these chips here, possibly. I'm not sure. But when it does turn all the way on, these are reading normally. So that's what I know so far, having not really dug into that part of it yet a lot. So I will be continuing on, and now I am referring to the schematic to kind of see if I can find something that's pretty much guaranteed voltage in a certain area if it does boot versus if it doesn't. Then I can kind of trace that back and see where that point is that it needs that switch to happen. So it's just going to be a pretty good hunt for what the problem is on this thing. But I have fixed a bunch of other issues with it, including the display. The display, of course, is these linkages here Those just need to be reflowed. These need to be reflowed. If you have the display issue, if you have the buttons not responding, these are your guys. So that's what I've done so far, and I would love to get this thing up and running. I've got another one too, and they took the Curtis chips out of that one, so that's okay though, because I have a plan B, not as expensive, and I would love to get it working too and just put those in, and that would be just hunky-dory. So that's where I'm at with this AX80. If anybody has any input, any ideas, point me in the right direction, that'd be cool. Otherwise, just going to be business as usual. Go in there and start tracing and spending a lot of time reviewing the schematic and try to figure out where my issue is. I don't believe it's a soundboard. I believe it's going to be somewhere on the motherboard. That's what I think, but the main board. Anywho, and when it does boot up and it just happens to work, it's gorgeous. I love the board. So, if you got anything, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Can't think of anything else to give you insight on. I think that's about all I've done so far. So let me know if you have any ideas. Appreciate it. Rock on.